All right, and we are back here on the GSMC football podcast. And for the final part of the show, we are now going to talk about what's next for the Buffalo Bills. So, obviously, we talked about the game yesterday, losing to the Kansas City Chiefs once again in the postseason, 27-24. This time in Buffalo. It was a heartbreaking loss. I mean, you even saw, they panned to fans crying in the stands. I was kind of disappointed as well. I'll be honest, like this weekend, like all the teams that lost, I was just like disappointed to see it. I don't know. Because again, like all the teams that are left, I don't really like dislike. And there's some aspects of, some of the teams that I like. So, like when the Bucs lost to the Lions, I was upset for Baker. The Packers losing, it was upsetting to see that. And the Bills too, because you kind of wanted to see them get over the hump. I mean, I had the Chiefs going to the AFC Championship game, but it was still kind of disappointing because you kind of felt like maybe this was that year for them. But unfortunately for them, that was not the case. So now they go into this offseason. I mean, I saw the video with Josh Allen in the press conference. Just saying like, hey, at least we woke up today. You were saying that yesterday, so it's just depressing. But you know what? Josh Allen, when he steps up to the podium, he usually says the right thing. And talked about believing in the guys in the locker room, and they're going to figure this out to get over the hump. That's basically what he was saying. And we'll see. But the conference next year is going to be better. Like some other teams, this was kind of the year to do it because you had the Chiefs coming in. We're not the same offensive juggernaut that we're accustomed to seeing. There were some flaws with them throughout the season. The Bills obviously beat them in Arrowhead. I mean, they narrowly beat them in Arrowhead. If it wasn't for Kadarius Toney lying offsides, the Chiefs probably, the Chiefs win that game. But the Bills won that. You had Joe Burrow getting hurt this year, which, next year, if the Bengals are healthy, that's another team that the Bills have had a problem with. And, we just talked about C.J. Stroud and what the Texans were able to do. The Jaguars, they beat the Bills this year in London. I don't know how you want to take that, but that happened. And I know the Jags kind of collapsed, but you figured they're going to be competitive too next year. The Colts are going to be better. The Jets with Aaron Rodgers, the Dolphins. I mean, there's so many teams that I know the Bills swept the Dolphins, but still, like, the conference is going to be more competitive next year if, injuries don't happen. But injuries can happen. But I think as long as the Bills have Josh Allen, they're going to be in it. And listen, they were kind of left out to dry. It looked like they were done at 6-6. That overtime loss to the Eagles, it looked like that was it for them. But they, after the bye week, they came out and they won their final 5 games. They made the playoffs. They beat the Steelers, and listen, they had their chances in the game against the Chiefs. They really did. But I saw I rewatched the Diggs drop where Allen threw the ball up into the stratosphere, and it looked like Diggs could have came down with that, and also Sherfield had a drop as well that he could have caught that would have been critical in the game. You could look to that. But, I mean, listen, again, injuries is a part of the game. Everybody deals with them. But you had guys like Tre'Davious White, their, Pro Bowl cornerback, tearing his Achilles earlier in the season. You had Matt Milano, him missing the rest of the year, him getting hurt and being out the rest of the year. Jordan Phillips, their defensive tackle. Gabe Davis didn't play in the game against the Chiefs, which, listen, he had that big playoff game a couple years ago against them. He could have helped them out. There was no Taylor Rapp for the game, the safety, Bernard, their linebacker, sorry. They were missing some key pieces in this game. You also had Rasul Douglas, who wasn't 100%, who was that acquisition at the trade deadline from the Packers. The Bills, they were missing some pieces. And, if those guys play, maybe it goes a little bit different. But one thing that people are saying is the fact that Bills defense is getting older. They're gonna have to. That's one thing they're gonna have to do is they're gonna have to get younger on this defense. They obviously brought over Von Miller to help out. Last year, but he got hurt and he's getting older. It's they got to get younger and faster on this and on the defensive side of the ball. And then you look at the free agents, because I was taking a look at that last night. So Micah Hyde's a free agent. Daquan Jones, another defensive tackle. Leonard Floyd, Jordan Phillips. Those are some names there. Taylor Rapp is a free agent. AJ Epinesa, he's a free agent as well, defensive end. Shaq Lawson. Gabe Davis as well. Bill's got a decent amount of free agents. Dane Jackson, a corner. They're going to lose some pieces on the defensive side of the ball. So, and is Sean I guess, they haven't done anything with Sean McDermott yet. Maybe it's too soon to tell, but maybe it seems like he's gonna come back. So we'll see. But yeah, I think on the defensive side of the ball, they got to improve there. They also got to get another wide receiver because, sorry, I'm trying to hold back a sneeze. I apologize. That always, again, that happens at least once or twice on the show, is trying to hold back a sneeze, but we're good now. But yeah, I think another thing is get another offensive weapon. So I was also reading that, because Stephon Diggs did not talk to the media. They asked if, I think the media was, asking for an interview from him, and he basically just said no. He did not want to talk to the media after the game. So in an article I was reading, cutting or trading Diggs before June 1st would cost the Bills over $31 million in dead cap. And then after June 1st, they could save nearly $20 million on next year's cap, but have north of $20 million in dead cap for the 2025 NFL season. So I don't know. Is Diggs going to want out? Listen, another thing I saw on social media is just the picture of him, watching the Chiefs celebrate the AFC Championship victory against them. That's all you see now. Every time the Bills lose now to the Chiefs in the playoffs. There was one that I saw. I don't know if my friend sent it or I just saw it on social media, but there was like 3 Stephon Diggs, of him looking at the Chiefs celebrating. Actually no, there was there was that, but then there was also one of Diggs. They photoshopped him of when he was watching them celebrate the AFC Championship game. They photoshopped him with the picture of him dropping the pass in this past playoff game, which I thought was funny. But yeah, we'll see. Again, I don't know what happened to Diggs. Like, I know people are like, oh, he's washed, he's declining, or is it just they're not throwing to him? He should have caught the pass that Allen threw to him, which would have been huge. But I feel like it's like they're also not throwing to him. There was late in the game. This was the Bills' last drive when Allen was throwing to, I think it was Shakir, but he just it hit the ground instead. But people talk about Chris Jones just pushing Deion Dawkins into Josh Allen. That kind of threw off the pass by Allen. But Diggs was open underneath. And I even said it too. I was like, throw to Diggs, also because I kind of needed Diggs to score a touchdown. Diggs was open, so I don't know why Josh Allen didn't take the underneath route. Because, that would have got you closer when it comes to field goal range, and maybe Bass doesn't miss that kick. I don't know. It's a lot of if they did this, it's a hypothetical, but it's not gonna. That's what Allen decided to do. But he had Diggs open, and Diggs could have got a couple of yards there, but yeah, he just really didn't do anything the second half of the season, and I don't want to say that it's all Diggs, declining. I don't think it's that. Because he got off to a great start. I think it's just the Bills had like a different, they had a different way of how they ran the offense. It was just they were running the ball constantly, which is something that they have struggled to do in the past. But now it's just they were going all with the running game. James Cook, he had that monster game against the Cowboys. They really were leaning on the running game and having Josh Allen run the football more as well. Because, you look at Allen's stats. He had under 200 passing yards in the game against the Chiefs. There's some other games. He didn't light up the stat sheet when it came to, throwing the football. So, they took a different approach when they changed the OCs during the season. And, that ended up panning out because, they're trying to limit the turnovers from Josh Allen, and they also ended up making the playoffs and finishing as the 2 seed this year. But, then it didn't really matter because you still lost to the Chiefs, even at home. So, yeah, there's a lot of with the Bills. There's question marks as well with them going into the offseason. But again, it's going to be hard because next year the conference again is going to be better. You're going to have a healthy Joe Burrow. I mean, you figure if the Chargers bring in the right head coach, if they get Harbaugh, they're going to be in the mix next year. It's it's going to be tough. It's going to be tougher for the Bills next year. But I mean, listen, I think they're going to be one of those teams that's going to be fighting for a playoff spot. But, you had the 2 seed. You were at home against the Chiefs. I mean, that was your chance to get it done finally, but that wasn't the case. But again, who knows what would have happened next week when you play the Ravens? You got all these injuries on defense, and the Ravens tiring teams out with their running game and how Lamar Jackson's been playing and the way the Ravens defense has been playing. Would the Bills have even gotten past the Ravens? I don't know. I mean, probably not. But yeah, it's going to be a long off season for the Bills. I don't know when they're going to get over that hump. I mean, I don't think Stephon Diggs leaving is going to help that, because that's really what, put Josh Allen in that elite class when it comes to the top quarterbacks. Once he got Stephon Diggs, he really started to shine, because obviously the first couple of years, I mean, his rookie season was rough. Then 2019 was better. But also because you had Brian Dable who helped develop him as well. But once you got him that number 1 receiver in Diggs, that's when he took off. And, he put himself in the conversation as one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL. But, I mean, there's a lot of blame to go around. I mean, it's coaching. I mean, listen, the Bills lucked out when, McCole Hardman fumbled. But, I mean, if the Chiefs score that touchdown there, we're not even talking about Tyler Bass. We're just talking about Sean McDermott, But obviously people are talking about Allen and Diggs. And it's a lot. It's, Tyler Bass is part of the reason they lost, but you also got to look at, the offense and coaching and the defense being injured. There's just so many things you could point to. It's not one particular thing as to why the Bills lost. But again, they had their opportunities. And, they had the lead, but, they just couldn't get it done. And the Chiefs own them. This is the bottom line. The Chiefs have their number in the playoffs. I mean, the regular season, you could say the Bills have their number, but when it comes to the postseason, when it really matters, the Chiefs have the Bills' number. So, but, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for the show for today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, what the Bills should do. It's gonna be an interesting offseason for them. I think, there's definitely changes that will be made, and yeah, they're gonna have to improve this roster somehow, because the defense again, that's getting older. I mean, and we'll see what happens with Stephon Diggs if he wants out. But I thought, you look at some of the young players like the Dalton Kincaid, the tight end. He looks like he's going to be a good weapon for them. James Cook, he ran the football well at times this year. So they got and of course you have Josh Allen still, but I think you got to try to find a way to keep Diggs unless he really wants out. But I mean, I don't think the Bills are trying to get rid of him. I mean, he hasn't come out and said anything, but there's always been like that speculation that Diggs just does not want to be with the Bills anymore. I feel like this might have been the last straw, but we'll see. But yeah, so that's all the time that we have for today. Thank you guys for watching. We'll be back again tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And until then, I'm Kenneth Grunfelder signing off from the GSMC Football Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Have a good day, and I will see you guys next time. Take care.